The Chicago Bears need to continue building the trenches. I believe very strongly that the Bears have to fix this offensive line once and for all during this offseason. Justin Fields faced as much pressure per snap as almost any quarterback in the league last year, and throughout his 3-year career, he has never had his starting 5 offensive line for 3 straight games, even when he had guys like Sam Mustipher in the offensive line. It's actually embarrassing to talk about some of these stats. I do think Ryan Poles has done some work to improve this line, and I can see the offensive line play getting much better over the next few seasons, but so far they've just been atrocious. Today I wanted to do a deeper dive into the analytics of this offensive line and figure out where we need the most help. Let's get right into it. I'm going to talk about the starting offensive line from last season, starting with Braxton Jones at left tackle. He gave up 2 sacks and 32 pressures on the season. His blocking actually graded out as the best on our entire team with a 70.7 grade. Braxton's issues were his 9 penalties. He also had 12 as a rookie. Right now, Braxton looks like a starting left tackle in the NFL and one of the better players on our offensive line. His biggest issue is cutting down on the false starts. But then we get to Teven Jenkins, who allowed 17 pressures and 3 sacks last year. He was our second highest graded pass blocker, coming in with a 68.5 grade. Tev had 4 penalties on the year. Tev's biggest issue right now is staying healthy and getting more consistent, but he has the upside to be a Pro Bowl guard in the NFL. Center is where we find the biggest hole on our entire offensive line. Last year was a mixture of Cody Whitehair and Lucas Patrick. Both will be finding new homes in 2024, and the Bears are looking to upgrade at this position. A huge hole right now on the roster. Whitehair's stats don't look too bad, but it's because he was usually asked to help block and didn't have as many one-on-ones as the other guys. He gave up 3 sacks, 22 pressures, and had 2 penalties in 11 starts. Moving on to guard, Nate Davis struggled all year. He missed a ton of time with injuries, and he still gave up 29 pressures and a sack in limited reps. His 47.8 pass block grade was by far the worst on our offensive line. Nate Davis was a highly paid free agent signing from Ryan Poles that kinda looks like a bust right now, but I wouldn't write him off yet. He was much better in 2022, and he's only 27 years old. Nate had a roller coaster of a season, moving to a new team and then losing his mom in training camp before he got injured. A lot went wrong with Nate Davis's 2023 campaign, and I won't sugarcoat it. He had an awful year, but to write him off as a player is just wrong to me. He's very talented and capable of being a starting guard in the NFL. He's done it before and played at a high level. Hopefully with a full offseason to get healthy, Nate can bounce back. I will add that his contract isn't as bad as most people seem to think. Ryan Poles protects himself for these kind of investments in free agency. Nate will most likely be on our roster this year, and there's a good chance he's a starter, but Poles should have a contingency plan in place just in case he doesn't bounce back. There's an out in his contract after this season, so if he doesn't bounce back, he probably won't be here next year. And then we get to rookie tackle Darnell Wright, who was Ryan Poles' first ever first-round pick. He gave up 51 pressures and 7 sacks on the year, as well as having 11 penalties, all the most on the team. Some people will see that as looking really bad for Darnell Wright, but we have to remember he's the only player on our offensive line that started every single game. Nobody else on the line started more than 11 games. Darnell Wright started 17. He was also a rookie and played a chunk of the year with an injured shoulder. And yet, even with all that, his 61.3 pass block grade was still 3rd best on our team, and he looked like a bookend right tackle that could be a starter in the NFL for a long time. Darnell has Pro Bowl potential at right tackle. The upside is there, but he did struggle at times during his rookie season. He will need to continue getting better and cut down on the penalties. I see a huge jump coming in year 2 for Darnell Wright. And then when you add in how many snaps each guy played, plus the run blocking grades, You see that Darnell was our most durable offensive lineman, and that definitely means something. Braxton Jones, Teven Jenkins, and Nate Davis all missed significant chunks of time this year. That made it impossible for our offensive line to familiarize themselves with each other and gel as a unit. We had Teven Jenkins and Cody Whitehair moving to new positions, and we had two brand new additions to the line with free agent signing Nate Davis and first round pick Darnell Wright. The only starter on our entire offensive line who was in the same position he was the year before was Braxton Jones. So we had a whole bunch of changes, no time for anyone to gel, and a ton of injuries. And when you add all of that together, it becomes more clear why the Bears offense struggled so much in 2023. Our three best offensive linemen are pretty clear. It's Teven Jenkins, Braxton Jones, and Darnell Wright. I do not see tackle as a huge need. Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright could be a solid pair for the next decade or longer. Those two paired with Teven Jenkins were our three highest pass blockers and our three highest graded run blockers as well. Tev was our best graded run blocker, Braxton Jones finished second, and Darnell Wright finished third again. To me, it's clear we need help on the interior of this offensive line, not just at center, but another really good guard too. We need another starting caliber guard, in my opinion. I love Teven Jenkins, but he's not proven he can stay healthy yet, and Nate Davis is a huge question mark right now. Teven Jenkins was by far our best lineman, giving up a sack, pressure, or penalty once in every 16.5 snaps, was simply elite. If Tev can stay healthy, the sky is the limit for him. I'm also really high on Braxton Jones. His biggest issue right now is penalties. A lot of people still say he has no anchor, but Braxton's anchor improved drastically in 2023, and if you didn't notice that, I don't think you were paying much attention. And on top of that, I think he's going to continue to get better and better. If he can cut down on his penalties and stay healthy, Braxton Jones really could be a top 10 left tackle in the National Football League. And then we get to Darnell Wright, who I think has the upside to be one of the better right tackles in the NFL. He just needs to continue to improve and work on his consistency. I foresee him being way better in year 2. Nate Davis is definitely the biggest question mark right now. I loved his tape in Tennessee, but I hated his tape in Chicago last year. So it's pretty much a tale of two different stories. I do believe he can bounce back, but I do not think we can afford to go into this season without at least one more starting caliber guard to go along with a new center. I don't like the constant changes on the offensive line, but until we find guys that can stay healthy and protect our quarterback, we have to keep looking and adding additional pieces. This offseason, I believe it's imperative that Ryan Poles fixes this offensive line. It's been too big of an issue for too long. This video is something I've had in the works for a while. Honestly, I have about 50 plus half-written or unfinished videos that I've written most of but have not recorded yet. I was actually inspired to finish this video this morning after watching Adam Mason's video about Justin Fields not holding the ball too long. Check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I'll have it pop up on the screen here at the end of the video. Please remember to hit the like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.